We've arrived at the final segment of this deep dive on Leaders in the Midst, and this particular segment is entitled Find Your Base. Finding your base may be language that you're not accustomed to, but it deals with the issue of who is it in your life that you are traveling with, and who for you would represent that person as who would be an ally, a confidant, and a safe sanctuary for you. Recently in the US, I think it was the General Standard Survey or Societal Survey that was released, indicated that millions and millions of people in responding to the survey said they have no one in their life who is a confidant. What that means is that they really do not have what we're referring to as a positive, secure base that holds them, that supports them, that is in the corner of their life for them. The secure base concept is a concept that a number of years ago, a writer by the name of John Bowlby wrote a book simply entitled Secure Base. It comes out of the field of attachment studies, holding environment studies, and is simply an indicator that we hold life as we are held. And when we have a secure base, and Bowlby within his book writes about this, it is similar to a soldier who is in the midst of battle, who fights differently when they know they have a secure base that they can count on. They fight differently in the trenches when they know they have some backing, when they know there are some resources that they can call in if needed. When they don't have a secure base, they will fight in a very different way. So a secure base is the matter of thinking about who is your circle of trust, who is your circle of clarity, where is your circle of a few confidants. This is going to become, and it is going to become more and more important in the scrambled world. Now, the scrambled world is the world that Bob Johansen refers to in his most recent book on full spectrum thinking. Bob Johansen earlier was one of the pioneers of the VUCA idea, VUCA, that we live in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. He has in recent days said, I think we have moved, we're still in a VUCA world. We're still in a volatile world. We're in an uncertain world, a complex world, an ambiguous world. But he adds this. He says, I believe in the days to come, we are going to be more and more in a scrambled world filled with three things. Misinformation. That is, we're going to have more and more confusing signals. Some of them intentional, many of them unintentional. We're going to be in a world, secondly, of more disinformation, which is intentional. We're also going to be in a world where there's going to be more and more, it's not complexity, but it's going to be a world where there is more and more confusion related to those first two. The disinformation, misinformation is going to lead to a tremendous level of confusion. And he says this is a scramble. And we're going to be scrambled more than ever, and we're going to need to find places that can help us get clarity. So that's Bob Johansen's perspective as a business thinker. Parker Palmer, in his book, Let Your Life Speak, talks about the need for circles of trust. That our souls are very shy things, and we need circles that are trustworthy. And this is what a secure base is all about. So I want to let you know right now that every single one of us has a base. For some people, they have a barren base. Their base that they live on is barren. There's no one that they could call at 3 a.m. There's no one that they could call in the early hours of the morning to say, can we have coffee? Can we get together for breakfast? It's barren. There are other people who have a pseudo base. That is, they have a base of relationship that they think is really good, but it's pseudo. It isn't real. It isn't dependable. For others, they have a shallow base. That is, they may have many people that they say are part of my relational network, but it's very shallow. It's an inch deep, 1,000 miles wide. There are some people who find themselves in a toxic base. They're in a world of hurt because of negative relationships. The secure base is qualitatively different. The secure base is that place where you are held, where you are cared for, you are challenged, and you are supported. This peer connection is, I believe, one of the most important survival strategies for the age in which we live. It is also, I think, one of the most important thrival strategies, if that's even a word. If it isn't, we have now coined the term. We know what survival is. We better learn what thrival is. Thrival means thriving. If we're going to thrive, we need a secure base. They're more important than ever. The circle of people who are a circle of trust, a circle of clarity, a circle of care, a circle of challenge, and a circle of support. That's what a secure base is all about. It's your band of brothers or your band of sisters, and it may be only 2 or 3 others that you covenant with to be in relationship, to perhaps put your heads and hearts together once a month, once every 2 weeks, and you do it in person, you do it over Zoom, and it has a totally other purpose than anything else in your world. It is about caring for one another, challenging one another, and supporting one another. So every life has a base, as I said. A secure base is a holding environment from which you can safely express and interpret your experiences, especially the challenging ones. So secure bases are safe places in which people can also be held by others. They can be calmed, validated, understood, gently challenged until they have regained some sense of psychological balance. The holding environment dimension is, as I said, part of the early theory of secure base. And the holding environment dimension or theory is that we simply hold life, personal, vocational, global rocks in our backpacks. We all have that backpack we began with in this deep dive. As leaders, we also hold the environment of our context. So we hold life ourselves, we hold our environment. If you're a leader, over time you can suffer from the sacrifice syndrome. You can just say, what have I done? I'm losing more and more of who I am because of the weight, because of the burden, because of all that I'm carrying, I'm holding. And the question we seldom address is, who is holding me? That is the question we're prompting you to really ask, and we trust in the days to come answer. Who is holding you? So this question of who is holding me becomes really the central question in this particular deep dive at the very end. Who is it in your life that is your band of brothers, your band of sisters? Here's a quick course on a secure base. A secure base then is where you have the gift of others who hold you. That is, they love you and you love them. They also let you go. That is, they challenge you and then they stand by for you. They're there to support you. And healthy development and sustainability in life is linked directly to the provision of healthy holding environments and the experience of secure bases. This point of Robert Keegan is we hold as we are held. We are going to do a future deep dive on this, exclusively on what a secure base is truly all about in its richest dimensions, and as well the very practical piece of how you can develop a secure base for your own life. The secure base gifts, and this was a surprising discovery in a research project that I did on learning clusters for leaders. And what I discovered is that for people who engaged in a band of brothers or a band of sisters, a small covenant group, a learning cluster, a peer cluster, whatever term you might use, lifeline relationships, that these gifts rose to the top. The gift of sense making, the gift of clarity and the complexity and confusion and ambiguity of leadership. Many said that the real gain was I was able to find a place where I could slow down my thinking in my heart and express what I was going through and have others who understood my context and dimension speak into it and give me a sense of what was going on. The second gift was courage building. So the matter of building courage and the encouragement to take the next hill, to sometimes endure and persevere, to sometimes go back and face the difficult conversation or challenge that they were engaging in. And the third gift was simply the matter of pack lightning. So intriguingly, when you go back into the margin equation segment and the discerning your load, we often try to do this on our own. We often try to figure out our margin equation and what are my resources, what are my load. We often try to navigate how we're reframing and dealing with stress. We also, on our own, try to figure out how can I engage and disengage wisely. Even with our gauges, we sort of go away and privately go through the assessment of where I'm at emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. What we're saying in the secure base piece of Leaders in the Midst is that when you have a secure base of other men, other women who love you, who challenge you, and who support you, all of those things can be things that are brought into the context of safe community. And where the shy soul is able to show up and allow others to provide the gift of what I think the body of Christ was intended to be. And that is a secure base from which men and women like us can make forays into the world, knowing without a shadow of a doubt, we have some people in our life that love us. They are there to challenge us. They will not expect too little of us. They're also there to support us. And when we gather with them, weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, and we spend a few hours together, we share our hearts and share our lives, we find that we're able to better make sense of things. We're able to be encouraged. We're also able, with all the load and things we carry, to have some others look into our backpack and say, why are you carrying that? Why are you carrying this? Why are you carrying that memory from the past, that failure? Why are you carrying that flaw? Why are you carrying that sense of you really did not do a good job? Can we unload that? Can we together cast our cares, roll our cares onto God, as Peter said in his epistle, and cast all of our cares upon him, for he cares for us? Often we as men and women need another human being to get in our space and in our face and say, okay, let's unload this. Let's give this to the only one who can ultimately deal with it. So this is a quick course in secure base. The picture of a provision in a secure base or secure base constellation are the following dimensions. This will be the focus of a future deep dive. This particular overview is that what we're doing in a secure base are all of these things. We're sharing our balcony. We are lightening our load. We are strengthening our resilience in a number of key dimensions. We're also facing our hungers. And we are raising our game. We're achieving, I think, a greater sense of potentiality as a result of those who are in our secure base. A rule of thumb on this matter is that a secure base for leaders is often, I think, almost always outside the organization you lead. Just for the sake of confidentiality and full safety, psychological safety, that is often a necessity. Not always, but I found that that really is something that is a general rule. For educators who lead a school, it's good to find a secure base of several other administrators or educators outside your school. For pastors, it is, I think, best to find a circle of peers or a circle of trust outside of your present ministry context. For a business leader, it obviously is best to have a secure base of people outside of your business context where you can simply share the full load and weight of what you're dealing with. So that is a rule of thumb. So I want to encourage you, do a note to self on this matter of your base. Reflect on what right now would you consider to be a secure base if you have one. If you don't, make this a matter of prayer. Make it a matter of priority. Take some next steps. In the note pages, maybe there's a few people that come immediately to mind, and it bears out a good conversation with them to say, would you be willing to maybe enter into a kind of mutual trust covenant with me and a few others, and we can journey together and be for one another the secure base that we need to thrive well and to engage in wise self-care in a world that we're presently in. So this has been the deep dive. You have the one-page overview that we've encouraged you to work with, and those notes to self. There's also the 2-page worksheet. I would encourage you to take some time with this, and some things have come to mind for you as you've worked through these things of areas of what your next action steps to strengthen particular areas will be. We provided for you what I call the reader, and the reader itself is there for you to work through, look through. It's a potpourri of different insights and perspectives on matters we've talked about. There's things in there on the front porch. There's things in there about self-differentiation. There's pieces there on rumination versus reflection. There's also matters there that relate to self-care, to prayer, and that's there for you. It's an added resource, an added bonus for this deep dive that we've put that together. Thank you for taking in this deep dive offered by Crest Leadership, and we encourage you to stay tuned to the Crest Academy for more things to come. We're here to help you make the next half of your life the best half of your life. And if we can be of any further help, contact Dan Reinhardt or John Pritchard or myself, and we would love to be of service to you. So for now, be a wise leader in the midst of wherever God has placed you. And at the heart of that wise leadership is good self-care, tending well to one's own heart and soul and mind before God, and allowing God to shape you into the man or woman he wants you to be. And then out of that health and strength to bring your best to wherever it is that you are leading these days. God bless you, and we'll see you along the way.